One thing we have not yet done is a closed circuit television and a room for mothers. That would be a nice thing to do. Where's Radha, you know? Where is it? Hiding somewhere. Anyway, we could take up a collection for that. I think this will be a good project. The temple will arrange some room where we do a closed circuit television, and we can agree today that we will fund that. Does that sound like a good idea for mothers?
Right.
Mothers and babies and crazy people, maybe. So I have spoken about Srila Prabhupada, and I will say a few words. One of the things that Prabhupada has done is that, I think also, by the way, I should say that another wonder of Prabhupada, that in spreading the movement around the world, one can see this visibly. Last evening I was walking up the block with Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu, and where is it? Yeah, and we were saying that as you walk one by one past each house, you feel like you're passing through either a different continent or a different nation of the world. You know, you go through the Philippines, you go through Singapore, you pass South Africa, you pass Fiji, pass through China, pass through Argentina, pass through Mexico, and Canada, and England, and there's so many, Germany. We were just, Spain. We were going through so many different places and found that there were people gathered in this community from all over the world. And therefore Prabhupada said, and Jayapatana Maharaj, of course, made that statement once, you know, United Nations, right, of the spiritual world, in one of his famous, outbursts. United Nations of the spiritual world, that's ISKCON. So Prabhupada really did open up the world for Gaudiya Vaishnavism. There was, when my dissertation comes out, you'll see that there was a forerunner to Prabhupada in 1903 or 4, named Krishna Prema, Swami Krishna Prema, who came, and he was a Gaudiya Vaishnava. And he published a book called Krishna, the something, I think the Ocean of Love, I forget the name of his book. But he preached for some time, but had some following, and then went back to Vrindavan and passed away. But the fact is that the movement did not take hold at that time. It is Prabhupada who really opened up Krishna consciousness. And one of the things that Prabhupada wanted was that his God brothers and their disciples should expand and travel and preach and join him. And unfortunately that never took place. He invited a number of them to join him, but they did not take that invitation up. Nevertheless, one of the devotees here, her spiritual master, is a god brother of Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Shraman Maharaj, a very saintly Vaishnava who passed away some years ago. And she is from Singapore, and she took shelter of him. Her name is Bhakti, and she took shelter of him as his second to last disciple. And so we remember him and honor him on this day. Prabhupada's sannyas guru, Keshav Maharaj, has a so many disciples, and one of them is Narayan Maharaj, His Holiness Narayan Maharaj, who has a disciple here, Ekanath Das, and Narayan Maharaj and I have had very intimate and close association, and unfortunately circumstances have conspired against us that we have not been able to be with each other as we were previously. But nevertheless, he is spreading consciousness of Vrindavan and Radha Krishna all over the world now, and giving some inspiration, hope to so many devotees who have lost hope. And so we honor him today, on this day. I'm going to read off names of people in order of they have disciples here. His Holiness Bhakti Churu Swami Maharaj, a very intimate friend of mine, like a younger brother. He joined Krishna consciousness and took his first, second, and sannyasa initiations all within a period of 6 months' time. And he, of course, makes these very nice videos. And oh, you're the spirit. When you come back through this door, come up here. I wanted to give you a garland as the past temple present, but I forgot. It should honor you as well. But Bhakti Churu Maharaj is making these video series of Prabhupada, and of course, very enthusiastic and preacher, Calcutta born like Prabhupada. So he is to be honored today. Then His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, the most energetic, perhaps, preacher in our movement, certainly the most vigorous kirtan dancer, graduate of Princeton, very visionary preacher, bold preacher, is remembered today and given honor. His Holiness Bhakti Vaibhav Swami Maharaj preaches in Eastern Europe, Russia. He's also a very saintly and powerful preacher who has worked very sincerely for so many years in many different countries in Eastern Europe. Give garland to Kira's Almighty here. Prabhupada said the temple president is the representative of the spiritual master. So he's also a representative of Vyasa. And past presidents are also to be. Should be given even more respect, because they're elders. Then Vyasa Krishna Goswami Maharaj, His Holiness, started a very nice temple in North Carolina. He's now also the